Here are the top 5 medical school application red flags you have to watch out for. Number 1, any type of typos or instructions that are missing in your application. Number 2, poor grammar, spelling, structure, flow of any type of application, written document material. Lack of preparation for CASPer interview, and that is obvious in the eye of the grader or the raters. Too many short-term fluff experiences instead of experiences that are more meaningful. And lastly, your references have no clue who you are, and all they can say is XYZ attended my class and got a X grade. The end. These are the top 5 medical school application red flags you have to avoid. Now, let's go to Meng, and maybe I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Behrouz and I'm the CEO and founder here at BMO, in case you haven't watched any of these before. I'm also joined with our manager of consulting today, Meng, who is gonna tell us each of these one by one. Maybe you could expand on these. So first one, and then maybe you tell us if there's some more that you've seen that are common as red flags. One is, I said, typos or missing things, as if like the person missed stuff. They didn't read the instructions.
Yeah, I think actually the first two that you mentioned, Behrouz, so easy for, yeah, like those kinds of errors, just really unprofessional.
Unacceptable.
And unacceptable. I mean, if you're going into the medical profession, you're dealing with people's well-being in their lives for the most part. So,
no way. I'm gonna let you touch me. You don't know.
There's just they're not gonna trust you with that kind of responsibility if you can't even like spell check your work, right? So those kinds of errors are definitely huge red flags. And if you think about just how little time the admissions committee member has to look at your application, it's just, you know, a minute or two. They have no tolerance for a poorly prepared application, and they're just going to put it in the reject pile.
The other one was, lack of preparation for CASPer and interview that is obvious to the person that, hey, you did not prepare. You just woke up because you read on a forum that you don't need to prepare. It's so obvious when you're not prepared. Meng?
Yeah, so, like some of the signs of that are you are including a lot of filler words in your speech. You have very shallow answers. You're not able to reflect deeply on your experiences and make connections with your future profession. All those kinds of things really come off as unpreparedness to someone who is interviewing you or reading your written responses. And it just demonstrates a lack of motivation and a lack of commitment towards your goal of becoming a physician, right? They've given you a spot to interview, and that spot could have been given to someone else who really, really wants to be a physician. And because of that, motivation would probably do really well in the profession. And it's just such a disappointment to have that spot wasted on someone who doesn't care enough to spend time preparing their answers or at least reflecting on their experiences.
Makes sense. The other one I had was, that we've seen a lot is too many short-term fluff experiences that are just like, that's not even why did you put it in their application? This is like nonsense.
Yeah. I've read a lot of applications in my time working with students, and I've seen those types of applications. And the immediate thought that comes to mind for me when I read such an application is, well, there's two things. Number one, this told me nothing about you as an applicant. And number two, why am I wasting my time reading through all these experiences when I'm not learning anything about you? And you just have to remember that these experiences that you include, there's a purpose to them, right? It's not just an exercise of, can you fill out this part of the application? They want to learn something from these experiences. They want to know if you are someone who is a team player. They want to know if you have a good leadership skills. They want to know if you can problem solve and think critically. Like, they're looking for specific traits in their candidates. And if you're including these kind of fluff experiences that are just there to quote unquote check off a box because that's what someone on a forum said that you need to get into med school, then you're not going to be able to demonstrate those key traits as well as you should.
Yeah, makes sense. And the last one I had was your references, the people who are your referees that are writing your letters of recommendation don't really have anything meaningful to say. It's just too shallow. It's clear they didn't even know you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I mean the reference letters are really there to be able to corroborate what you say about yourself in your application. That's what lends credibility to your application. If a physician or a professor that you've worked with can say, yes, Jane was extremely innovative on this project and creative with her solutions and was able to problem solve. Here are all the examples, right? Like that's what you want from your referees. You don't want someone who just says, yes, Jane got an A- in my class and that's all I know about her. Right? Because that doesn't say anything. They already know about your academic potential from looking at your transcript. It gives them no new information. It doesn't tell them that someone else agrees that you embody all those traits that you've said you do. So it's really important to include referees or ask referees who you've worked with extensively. And before you do that, you have to make sure you actually do work with referees, work with individuals extensively, right? That you've committed to the activity that you are working with them on over a long period of time, that you communicated with them a lot during that period of time, and that you actually had something to show for it in that time that you worked with them.
Makes perfect sense. Well, that was it. Another episode. This was a short one, very important one. Hopefully you got something out of this. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and share it with a friend. Subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, we'll get back to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you during the next episode. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.